Hello everyone, welcome to LICD Lecture 20C. Today's topic is how good is your sample and hold circuit. So basically we will study or we will analyze some specifications of a sample and hold circuit. So this is my sample and hold circuit. We have discussed it in details, the working, the sample mode, the tracking mode, and the input output waveforms and the control waveforms. And also we have simulated this in LTspice and checked it. And these are my, the output and the analog input waveform and my control signal. And here we have found out that we have a sample period, hold period, and a sampling time period basically. So your sample period is basically the time during which the voltage across the capacitor is equal to the the input voltage, and the hold period is the time during which the voltage across the capacitor is held constant. Now which capacitor we are talking about during this hold capacitor? Okay, now we have to keep a check of sampling theorem also. So sampling theorem says that the frequency of the sample should be kept, the the the, the sampling frequency should be kept at least twice the input signal frequency. So over here we have done that. So here the input signal frequency, the one period is completing over here. So this is one period, and we have kept this sampling frequency quite high, actually low. I mean much greater than that. So always keep a check on the sampling theorem, Nyquist and sampling theorem. So this criteria should be met. If it is enabled, then it will be easier for circuit to retrieve the input from the output. Okay, now let us go ahead. Now there is some criteria for selection for the hold capacitor. So a good a hold capacitor will be the one with a low leakage capacitor such as polyester, mylar or Teflon should be used to retain the stored charges during the hold mode. So if you select one of these capacitors, it will be acting as a very good holding capacity, because the capacitor should not leak away the charges. So that's the whole point of this whole during the hold mode, the voltage being constant. So the main components over here are the MOSFET and the capacitor. Okay, so they too should be very critical. Okay, so how good is your sample and hold circuit? So we need to investigate the performance parameters of the sample and hold circuit. So what happens is, during the transition from the track to the hold mode and vice versa, as well as during the hold mode itself, the following performance characteristics are observed, or the specifications, which is acquisition time, voltage droop rate, hold mode settling time, and hold step. So we will analyze today 1 and 2, that is acquisition time and voltage droop rate, which we'll be observing in the simulation also. So there are some limitations of this circuit while doing the transition from the track mode to hold mode and hold mode to track mode. So there are some slight problems which are there, which we'll be observing right now. Okay. Okay, so this is I think I have to go for the acquisition time first. Yeah, so this is the acquisition time. First, let me show you the acquisition time in LTspice. Okay, so this is my sample and hold circuit for 10 samples per cycle, correct? And let me check the output waveforms and input and output. Yeah, so these are my input and output waveforms. Also, let me add one more plane and add the sampling pulses also. Okay, so I'll go over here, add a V control. These are my sampling pulses. Okay, very good. So what do we observe is over here, let me go back to the PDF. Yeah, so it is the time, acquisition time. It is the time it takes for the output voltage to begin tracking the input V in within a specified error band after the reception of the sample or the track command. So practically what it means is the hold capacitor cannot charge instantaneously. It will take some time to charge. And that means it will take some time to respond to the changes in the input. Here, this time is RC time constant, which is given by RDS on plus RO, where RDS on is the on-state resistance of the MOSFET, and RO is the output resistance of the voltage follower, that is op-amp number 1. So we are talking about here. So the charging time depends upon the output resistance of this voltage follower and the on-state resistance of this MOSFET. So these are the two parameters which MOSFET depends upon. Okay, so this is the limitation of this. The capacitor doesn't charge instantaneously. So acquisition time is basically a function of the capacitor, hold capacitor CS charging current supplied by the op amp number one, then the time constant, the RC time constant during the charging phase of capacitor CH, and the slew rate of the op amp use. So basically the acquisition time will be mainly the function of these three things. Again I repeat, the charging, the hold capacitor charging current, the time constant, the charging time constant, and the slew rate of the op amp. So this will not allow the the capacitor to charge instantaneously with the input to the input value. So let us go to a reflection spot. So we'll observe the waveforms of sample and hold circuit, analyze it by expanding V in of t, V out of t, and V control of t during the transition from hold to sample, uh, hold to sample mode. So let us do that. So from this is my actually this is my sample mode, and this is my hold. So hold to sample mode. So something around here. So you see, this is my basically my hold mode, and this is my sample mode. So when you go from, let me bring back that PDF also. Yeah. So when there is a transition from hold mode to sample mode, so basically this is my hold mode over here. This is my hold mode, and this is my sample mode. I mean, what happened over here? Just let me check. Okay, let me expand it again. Yeah. So this is what I was talking about. Yeah. So this is my hold mode where this control voltage is 0, and this is my sample mode when the control voltage is 5. So when you are changing from hold mode to sample mode, as you can see, there is some slight drop. I mean, the capacitor is taking some slight time in reacting to the input changes. So see, this is the capacitor voltage. So I mean, this is what the acquisition time means. The time it takes for the output to, the time it takes for the output voltage to begin to react to the input changes is my acquisition time. So this much time will be required for the output to respond to the input changes when the mode is changing from the hold mode to sample mode. So this is basically my acquisition time. I hope that this point is clear. Yeah, this is my acquisition time. So it is the time it takes for the output to begin tracking the input. So this is that time. This is if you measure it. This is around if I measure this around, this is around let's take this cursor. So this time is, let's say, around 501 microsecond. Let me take another cursor over here. So this is around 5. So you will get around around nearby 1.93 microseconds is the acquisition time for this scenario. Okay, so it takes a finite time when the signals are changing quite fast. Then this microsecond delay also will be quite significant, because even if you run at megahertz, the time will be in microseconds. So again, this is very significant. Okay, I hope that this acquisition time concept is clear. So whenever, again I repeat, whenever the control voltage changes from hold mode, whenever we go from hold mode to the to the track or the sample mode, the capacitor will take some time to react to the changes in the input. So that is what is happening over here. So here it is. Okay, fine, we'll go back to our PDF and we'll discuss the voltage droop rate. So basically, the voltage loop rate, ideally during the hold mode, the output voltage should remain constant. That means the capacitor should not discharge. But in practice, the capacitor will slowly discharge with the progression of time. So the rate at which the capacitor CH discharges slightly in the hold mode is called as the droop rate. So basically, it will give an essence that output voltage is slightly drooping. If I expand it over here like this, so it will, the orange color is the one which says that the output voltage should remain constant. But here you will see the output voltage will slightly droop. So this is called as output voltage drooping, and this will happen during the hold mode. Okay. Now let us go into LTspice and observe this phenomena. So we can observe this phenomena during the hold mode, right? Let me check it. Okay, this is my hold mode whenever my V control is 0. So as you can see, the capacitor voltage should remain same, and you can see over here, I've expanded it to a lot. So this is the, I mean, there is a slight droop of voltage, as you can see clearly, right? So this reduction is from, I will let me, this is from 2.58, and it's reducing to, okay, it's reducing to a voltage of 2.57. So slight decrease, but still. So this is what happens basically. So it happens during the hold mode. Again, I repeat, I'll expand this section. The capacitor voltage should remain constant, but there is a slight decrease in voltage as it is observed over here very, very clearly. So this is what is called as voltage drooping, output voltage drooping. So droop it mainly originates from the leakages in the hold capacitor. So you have not, if you have not selected a good a very good quality capacitor with a low leakage value, then we will have, because of these leakages, the droop rate will be dominant. So we know that the current flow into the capacitor is C dV by dt. So your dV out by dt, that is the change in the output voltage, is given by IC upon CH. So basically this is my, there is a slight change in the output voltage with respect to time will happen over here. Okay, so this is the point. The mainly the droop rate will originate from the leakage is present in the hold capacitor. Okay, so we have already done this reflection spot. We have seen the transition from the sample to the hold mode, and we have analyzed the waveforms carefully, and we have seen that the droop rate, there is a slight droop in the, the output voltage is slightly reducing or slightly drooping. So this is what we have observed over here. Like this, the capacitor voltage should be constant, but it is not really constant because it's slightly, discharging due to the leakages in the capacitor itself. So one more thing is that there is an important phenomena. So if we change the hold capacitor to a higher value, let's say 1 microfarad, we will observe that there is a change in the acquisition time. So there will be increase in the charging time basically, right? We are increasing the CH value. So CH will take more time to charge to the input signal. So more time to charge the input signal value. So we will observe the change in the droop rate also. So if we increase the value of capacitor CH, the discharging time of the CH will decrease. So the CH will not hold the value more closer to the constant value. So let's do that. So this is at 0.1. Now let's me increase to 1 microfarad. Okay, now let us observe the waveforms again. Okay, so you see over here, there are slightly, lot of changes you have over here. So see, when you transit the discharging, it's not following, the acquisition time has increased basically. And yeah, you can clearly see the increase in the acquisition time. And let's see the voltage drooping now. It's also evident from here. Yeah, there is this voltage drooping also happening. So basically what will happen is, if you increase the value of hold capacitor, how will the acquisition time change? It will be increase in the charging time, so that the capacitor will take more time. So basically the acquisition time will slightly increase. So we actually, in reality, we want to decrease the charging time, so that it takes less time to charge for the for the capacitor to charge to the input value instantaneously. And for a droop rate, the discharging time constant will increase. That's good news, because the capacitor will hold the voltage more closer to the constant value. So you can see over here, comparatively, the voltage is almost better, a little better than the last time. Last time it was the voltage was drooping a little, but here it is almost significantly the same value. So that's what happens, and I think that's it for this online session. We have observed the performance parameters of sample and hold circuit, namely the acquisition time and the droop rate. So we'll go back to the PDF and have some concluding remarks. So basically, how good you see a sample and hold circuit, it depends upon how good is your MOSFET and how good is your hold capacitor. So these are some parametric metrics. Also, the op-amp should have a pretty good slew rate in check, so that you should have indirectly a faster op-amp. So that will help you out in the process of sample and hold. I think so. That's it. We have completed our objective for this lecture, and we will come out with some other application of op-amp until next time. So that's it for today. Thank you for joining. Have a good day.